Welcome back, friend. Now we are moving to the 3828, this channel of struggle. Again, we are in the individual circuitry, and the individual circuitry is about mutation. It's about empowerment. It's about self-empowerment. It is in the now. And there's a deep, deep melancholy that absolutely flows throughout individuality. So the channel of struggle, this is a projected energy. There's so many projected energies in the individual circuitry because individuality, again, is bringing that mutation. And because it is bringing mutation, it has to be invited. Not everybody is ready for your mutative energy if you have individual circuitry in any of your body graph or even some of your gates. There is a deafness here. So individuality is about acoustic. However, that sensitivity to acoustics, individuals are not designed to actually have influence from the other person. They're designed to have the mutation really come to them when the mind is no longer the inner authority. Can you and I, mutate each other? Yes, there are times that we can do that. But understand that as a whole, what the individual is doing is really bringing in the mutative energy from the program itself. This actual channel right here, this 3828, actually engages with integration. And I showed you integration in the introduction. And what the 3828 will do is it actually, it allows for integration to see past itself. Because integration is very, keeps the individual integrated and very inwardly focused. And the 3828 says, hey, we're out here. You're in this soup with all of us. So just be aware of that. This is a design of stubbornness. There's tenacity here. There's lots of tenacity here. Where the whole point of struggle is to say, listen, the individual life is of value. This isn't about the collective movement. This isn't about the tribe. This is about the individual and the importance of that individual. This is where we develop our intuitive process as well. So in the recognition of the acoustics, we have awareness whether or not to struggle. Knowing what to struggle is the essential ingredient in order to be able to find purpose. Now, a human design never ever said just because you're operating through strategy and authority is there going to be, rainbows and unicorn farts. That's not what this is about. In order to stand in your individuality, it is going to be a struggle. Because the collective is constantly trying to pull you off your game. The tribe does not want your mutative energy in there. So it's about standing firm that, you're here as an individual to move forward in life and express your purpose, your meaning. And I'm not talking about a mental meaning. This is not mind game. This is about being able to recognize how your physical body moves through. And it'll move through based off of your frequency that's within your human design body graph. And when we can alleviate the mind, let go of decision making on the mental plane, the physical body literally is walking you through your purpose day in and day out. The only thing is, do you have the blinders on? because the mind is so cluttered, or do you have the blinders off and you're able to witness and recognize the purpose? So this is the invitation from life to struggle to know what is of value. Responding to life in the now as yourself will bring you to the purpose and the meaning of your life. Without the invitation arising from the strategy and authority, the struggle will always be more difficult. So there is no finding purpose without struggle. Purpose is to be achieved as self. The strategy and authority takes the mind out of the equation, and the purpose is unfolding. It is up to you to witness it. This leads to a self-conscious understanding of limitations, the limitation of the design, and that limitation of the design. Yet it is also understood that we are not just here to survive. We are here to have meaning. So of course the spleen is about survival. But the spleen also has an awareness factor to it. The immune system is trying so desperately to keep us alive, and yet the spleen has an awareness that is a little bit beyond survival, that the individual life actually does have meaning. So the struggle is always about whether your life is of true value or not. Stubbornly rejecting the trivial life with little value and seeing that certain things are worth the struggle. There is a basic tension here that is created by stress from the adrenal system. And this is not connected to the throat. So it may always have the opportunity, may not always have the opportunity to explain itself. And this results in the natural energy excess of the body. And as you can see, it isn't connected to the throat. So if this energy, any one of these three channels, if they are defined in your body graph, and there's no natural outlet for this up to the throat, what you'll notice is that there will be excess energy. These are what we call the sports channels, okay? And the 3828 is one of the sports channels. It is important to use the body's energy to release the pressure in a way that is healthy, and you will be invited into the correct body movement. So just because, this energy needs to be utilized. So as a projector, I'm not saying, say you are a projector, that you have to go out every day and run 5K. No. Who's inviting you into exercising in a way that's healthy for you so that the pent-up energy can be released in a healthy way? So, recognize that your body will gravitate to the correct sport. Maybe it's yoga. Maybe it is running. Maybe it is squash. Maybe it is mountain climbing. Something like it's an individual sport. It's not going to be a team sport. It's an individual sport when we talk about this, 3828. When we discuss the 5818, that's more of a collective sport. And then when we discuss the 5432, that's a tribal sport. So watch what your body, and again, I'm not telling you that you can't get into a team sport. But what I'm saying is just watch what you're invited to, watch your physical body, and whether you're a manifester, whether you're a projector, whether you're a generator or a manifesting generator, if you have this energy, your physical body will want to be able to release it in some way, shape, or form. So watch what you're invited to. So all too often these people end up struggling with all the wrong things simply because they did not wait for the invitation. And simply because there's all of this pent up energy and this energy that wants to be released. When we look at the mandala, we have a bonding energy and we have a mutative energy. So even though individuality is a very on its own, by itself, mutative, there's also a quality here of being able to bring the individual to a bonding situation. And we're going to talk about that as we move through. So, what is of value is that you know how to respond to life as yourself in the now. That's the value. That's what human design teaches us, is that we are all valuable. But the moment that the mind is in the way, the struggle becomes overwhelming. So what is, again, important, you must be invited into the struggle, or it can turn into something very painful. The struggle with their own knowing itself until it is clear, that is of value. You know, knowing, remember, here we are, we're cruising along, we have individual circuitry in our body graph. And we're on this, you know, this plane that's going along, and the mutation is assimilating into our body. And then we have a spike up, and we take in this inspiration. Now we go along in the plane, and we assimilate that mutative energy. And then we have this spike down. And then again, we go along in the plane, and we assimilate the information. Knowing doesn't happen immediately. Knowing happens over time. So we know, we don't 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 know, oh, we know. We don't know, we don't know, oh, we know. So there's a timing process. And they have to be recognized that they are ready to struggle for their knowing. Recognition and invitation is so important here in the projected energy. You know, recognizing your own struggle, other people recognizing your struggle, and inviting your mutative energy in. Now, what I find, again, very similar to what, you know, the last few sentences of the last slide, the struggle gets turned inward. And it's very painful because you don't know what to struggle for. So you struggle for everything. And this is the tenacity to stand in your individuality, trust the strategy and authority, and let the body move. So struggle is so often a struggle of words, as this is acoustic. It is not about beating each other up. It is a struggle just to find the words to express and explain oneself. So needs to find the words in their life that they recognize give them value in their being. It is about hearing your truth. This energy forces the other to go within and get in touch with the fight and the struggle of their meaning. Remember, this is about empowerment. This isn't about, you know, influencing the other. It's bringing this empowerment to the other to stand in their own struggle, as, you know, alongside you as you stand in yours. So individuals are here to explain what others do not understand and cannot make sense of. The stress that is carried here is because there is not always an opportunity to explain what you know. This is why the exercise piece may be of benefit to release the tension. So when we look at this, we have the right angle cross of tension that begins to lie here again. And as well, you know, we look across where we just were in the 39-55, the 30 and the 39 are opposite of each other. So the tension isn't about provoking and fighting internally. It's about provoking and fighting for your individuality. The minute you turn it in and you turn that stress on self, that's when the adrenal glands they can't take it. So Again, projectors with this channel can be seen as hyperactive. And why? Because they have no idea how to use their body in a healthy way to release this pressure through invitation. So, say you have a friend and she goes to yoga 3 days a week. Just ask her, hey, do you mind just, inviting me? And when it is correct, your body will move you there. If it isn't correct, your body won't go. Now, don't feel guilty because your friend phones you 3 times a week and you only go once a month. And they don't have to phone you 3 times a week, but you know what I'm saying is that there has to be this invitation there so that you know what is correct, so that you know, and you're not doing it out of guilt or you're not doing it out of collective says, oh, I should go do yoga. It's about watching the physical body, and if it has energy to release, it will do that through the invitation. So people with this channel are here to challenge any knowing that cannot be successfully explained to it. You guys are here to know. Individuals are here to know. And if somebody cannot explain it to you, you're going to challenge the knowing. Now, when we look at the 38, this gate of the fighter, on the splenic side, the spleen is all about caring. On the solar plex side, it's more sexual. It's an emotional sexual energy. On this side, it's about caring. So this is actually a gate of carefreeness, a design of uncertainty. As a fighter, you can come across as callous as you fight for your individuality. The 28th gate is dependent on the 38's fuel. So the 38 is providing a fuel to, use that energy to move into your own meaning, your own value. So the 38's fuel is to transcend survival and find the meaning of it all. It leads to the 28th gate taking a risk. The only struggle worthwhile is the one that tells you that your life is of value, because that is what the struggle is all about. And that is why risk-taking is at the other end. This is the value of the individual life, not the collective life, and not the tribal life. This is about the individual life. So we're designed to fight for our own individuality. So following your own beat and direction, this is why there is deafness here. You are not to be influenced by others. You inspire and empower others to join the good fight as you persevere for your meaning. You're admired for this quality. And to be an individual is to recognize that you have to fight for your individuality and identity. You have to struggle to maintain your uniqueness. The fuel that blocks out the other to emerge as an empowered individual. This is the energy to struggle for purpose or value in life. Specific fueling for a specific kind of fight, fighting for your very life or fighting for a dream or a cause. Carries deep mutative pressure. What one fights for mutates. Fuels the stream of intuition, so this is deeply acoustic again. And the fuel to deal with the fear of death by fighting to have value and purpose in all of this life. So you feel a pressure to discover the value of your own life, something to love that elevates struggle beyond simply surviving. Fueled by the energy to oppose, you are capable of forcefully confronting adversity. You actually enjoy a good fight. You persevere your personal integrity by opposing those forces that would compromise you. This sense of purpose is enhanced when you stand up for those who cannot fight for themselves. You have a fierce independence and a highly focused stubbornness to meet any challenge head on. Your determination to persevere can also empower others to discern for themselves which struggle have value and which struggles do not have value. There is a fuel here for you to be the fighter. Now, when we look at it and we walk through the gates, so the ability to persevere the ability to preserve, I apologize for that, individual integrity through opposition to detrimental forces. This is your own individual integrity. The minute that individuals bend to the collective, there is no more integrity. The right angle cross of tension, the tension of life, you bring this tension to life. You bring this tension to those around you so that they can be empowered to struggle for their own value of their own lives. The juxtaposition of opposition, no matter the opposition, finding the value of life. The left angle cross of individualism, recognizing and accepting individuality. Now, as we walk through from, the first line all the way up to the sixth, the first line, the very foundation is qualification, tempering opposition based on the circumstances. This is, again, the fuel to attune us to our own intuition. So a psychic attunement that guarantees proper action, the psychic gift of knowing when and how to fight, the tendency to oppose as a general rule, and the drive to fight as a general rule. So qualification really is, we're not here to fight for everything. That's not what the 38 is saying. The 38 is saying, you don't always have to fight. You don't always have to struggle. The only thing you are designed to fight for and struggle for is what is correct to present the value of and meaning of your own life. Then we move up to politeness. So of course, these people, they're projecting outwards, and they have this politeness. So opposition that does not transgress normal codes of behavior. The value of discretion, the energy of the intuitive awareness for discretion. And over politeness that is both servile and obviously superficial and defeats its very purpose. The energy for over politeness in terms of struggle. This doesn't mean that these people don't struggle, okay? The politeness is that, in times of struggle, they are polite, Please do this. Please stop doing this. Please, please, please. Their craziness pretty much drives the collective a little crazy. But it's about being polite, qualifying what is the correct fight, and then being polite as you move forward in it. Because it isn't about, you're not fighting for everything. And again, we see this in people where they'll have this energy and they get sucked into and drawn into the collective fight. This isn't about the collective fight. This is about your individual movement forward. And then the 3, it's about alliance. So the ability to sustain through integration with similar forces, thus ensuring the vitality to persevere. The energy to integrate with others in times of struggle, and the selfish alliance, which saps the energy of one's partners in order to ensure personal vitality. The energy to selfishly use others in times of struggle. But I want you to remember, the third line has bonds made, bonds broken. So the alliance might be okay in this particular moment. But it may not last forever. Bonds made, bonds broken, trial and error. So today you might fight together with someone. Tomorrow, that fight's already done. you've moved on, and the alliance has been broken. Then we have investigation, analysis which strengthens opposition. The detective who develops or the insider who accepts a joint opposition whose success can only be based on trust. The energy to recognize who can be of value in times of struggle, and the aggressiveness in opposition that prejudices investigation and limits trustworthiness, the power of adrenaline to provoke aggressiveness. So the fourth line has this ability to be, inherently social. We're here to empower each other and not really influence each other. So that empowerment, it's about empowering ourselves to grasp what are we qualifying as our struggle. How can we move through that struggle, in a polite manner? And having a trial and error process as to who the alliance should be and who it shouldn't be. And then being able to investigate, can we have an alliance with someone in these moments of struggle? And then the alienation piece. So the alienation piece here, this kind of universalizes a lot of energy in this particular, this whole channel. Really, but in this gate, because there's lots of times where as an individual we alienate the other because they don't get it, because it isn't their struggle. It's our struggle. It's what we're fighting for. So a stage in opposition when one is truly isolated, the ambition and concentration to endure, the energy to stubbornly fight alone. Alienation experiences painful confinement that by its very nature blinds one to the possibility that there are those at some point who may come to one's aid. The energy for stubbornness is so strong that it is difficult to recognize that there are others that can help in times of struggle. Individuals are inherently, we are isolated. Because we have our own perspective, we have our own motivation, we have our own meaning, our own purpose that is deep within us. And that really brings an isolation to us. And then the 6 is this misunderstanding. So here we are, we're out on the horizon, and we have this misunderstanding. And the misunderstanding really is a very interesting value. So, opposition without basis. Eventually, crystallization that clears up misunderstanding. Energy which attracts misunderstanding and the stubbornness to face that opposition. The recognition that understanding is at the root of opposition, but the insistence that it is the misunderstanding of the opposing forces. Where misunderstanding is at the root of struggle, the energy of stubbornness to insist and maintain one's position. So, again, what are we doing? We are standing in our individuality, and that brings a massive amount of misunderstanding because nobody can stand in your shoes. And the opposition that's there has no basis because they've never been able to walk in your particular shoes. So individuals do attract misunderstanding so that they can stubbornly fight for their own wisdom. And why do I say wisdom? Because the 20.6 in the throat is wisdom. and wisdom in the now that is of value to society and civilization. So the 38.6 is one of the most potentially mutative of all gates in the individual process. Because the mutation is always bringing something new, and that mutative force is always misunderstood. Always misunderstood. Mutation is always misunderstood because the collective wants the status quo, and the tribe does not want your individual identity in there. Now, as we move to the 28. The 28th gate, the gate of the game player, the preponderance of the great. So the potential awareness to struggle or not. So we had the fuel in the 38 for the struggle. Now, is the struggle worth it? This is the awareness piece. So the awareness potential is the stubbornness to listen, to make sure that one listens so that one can take the best possible risks. This is acoustic. What is the, intuition telling you? What is your inner authority telling you? So the fear of whether or not life is of value, and they are afraid their way in this life will be a failure. The transitoriness of power and influence is the same theme as this 32nd gate that sits here in the splenic center. It's tribal, and the continuance that the only thing that endures is change. Individuals are designed to be mutative. It is an ongoing process, and that is what the preponderance of the great is all about. Risk is how you refine the process of correction. So in the 28th gate, we also have this gate of carelessness, a design of incaution. So again, on the splenic side, we have the caring aspect. Now, this is what's really important, is that the 28 is in the quarter of duality and bonding. So not only is it about caring, self-care, care of oneself, empowering others to care for themselves, it also has an aspect of love to it, which we're going to get to. So if we accept homogenized ideas of what we think we need for caring, is why we never actually get what we need or what is correct for us. So here is what happens over here. On the solar plex side, the emotional energy of this becomes a, let's romanticize, okay? And romance is about buying, flowers and integrating, the acoustics and doing all of that, right? Over here, caring looks different. It isn't about buying things. It's about, the whole point of it is that the only way we're going to be free of the fear of this death that sits in the 28th gate. There's a massive fear of death over here. And that death is, we're never going to find our purpose. Well, this is about caring for oneself deeply enough to fight for and be the game player in your own game. In your own game. So with the 28th gate being deeply individual, and yet the purpose to take place, and yet for the purpose to take place, we actually need the other person. So the 28th gate is the, caring gate, and it is also a gate of love. No fulfillment of purpose without the struggle of love. This love never knows until it knows. is the struggle to love of value. We need to have the other being. We need to care about ourselves deeply enough to know that we need to have the other in order for our purpose to present itself. Even though individuals feel very isolated, this is the one gate that actually, brings the bonding to the individuality. So the spleen is what makes us feel good or not. Because are we secure or not? Are we, in survival or not? It is actually through the 28th gate where the individual recognizes that truth is something that has to be shared. And that you find truth through and with the other. So in the 61, which is the individual gate in the head center, that's where truth is. But truth is to be shared with the other because we're in this bonding aspect in this 28th gate. So the 28th gate makes integration social because integration does not want to be social. Because of this duality that sits in this 28th gate. So evolutionary love is a struggle. We will struggle to find purpose and meaning through caring and through love. The magic of this gate is to bond without losing its individuality. It's about finding this love together. And you don't always know. You don't always know. Because individuality says, I don't know, until it knows. Your lover may ask you over and over and over, do you love me? Do you love me? And it's, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So this is the one place where caring and love intermingle. But it's not about getting them mixed up with each other. That caring becomes, oh, I'll buy you some flowers because I care for you. Buying flowers is because I love you. Caring for someone looks differently. It is that, Maslow's hierarchy. Having that solid foundation, allowing the person in your life to follow their own purpose while you follow your own purpose. And not pulling each other off of the purpose because we have this preconceived notion what love is all about and what caring is all about. So as we walk through the game player, this is the transitoriness of power and influence. And isn't it interesting because individuality isn't about influence, but now all of a sudden we're bringing influence in. Because we really do influence and empower other people to stand in their own game. Play your own game. Know your own details of your own game. Don't worry about my game. Be in acceptance that we all have our own game that we're playing. And the preponderance of the great, we are in this ginormous soup. There is a great game taking place. But you get to be the game player in this great muse. The right angle cross of the unexpected, you bring radical, unexpected change to your life and others. Juxtaposition of risks, expand the limits of life to reach personal meaning. And the left angle cross of alignment, caring makes life worthwhile. Now, when we look at the foundational piece, preparation, prepare yourself. Prepare yourself to stand in your own game. Know the details of your own game. Know the mechanics of your human design. Know the keynoting. Know this energy so deeply. Be prepared So the desire to be effective manifested in the application of energy to detail. The intuition to potentially apply energy to detail. Know your details. And then allow for the energy to absolutely move you in your game. The aesthetic application of planning that may have no real application. And intuition for detail without the potential for application. So when I look at this, you know, on the 38th gate, we have qualification of what are we struggling for, and now we get to prepare for it. And without knowing the details of our own design and not understanding how strategy and authority can give us the solid foundation, you know, the intuition for detail without the potential for application. We can never actually apply it in this game. Shaking the hands of the devil, this distasteful alliance, a means, however unsavory, that is justified by its ends. When the game turns to a struggle, the intuitive acceptance of any alliance in order to win. The anxiety engendered by sacrificing higher principles when there is no guarantee for victory. So why are we talking about winning here all of a sudden? Well, the 51-25 is competitive. It's an individual channel, and it centers us. It's in the centering circuitry. We are designed to win. We are not designed to lose this game to the collective construct, to the tribal construct. We are designed to win in this game of life. The adventurism, the unfounded risk-taking, a basic conservatism that even in adventurous acts is necessarily prudent, an intuitive caution in risk-taking in times of struggle. Here to perverse manifestation of Jupiter's expansiveness, where risk-taking is rationalized and failure ensured. Intuitive rationalizing of risk-taking in times of struggle. So, take the risk. Take the risk and win. Prepare yourself by knowing the details. And then take the risk to win. And of course, you know, if it isn't your struggle, let it go. If it is your struggle, your intuition will just absolutely guide you as to where your game player should be in this game of life. And holding on, the ability through whatever means to keep one's grip. The application of knowledge to exploit opportunities and unusually for the greater good. A depth of intuition at its best in struggle and often of value to others. Remember, when we're looking at the 4, they're externalizing. But the 4 is that, one-track mind, that singular focus. It has to be a singular focus. I know lots of fourth line beings. And what I notice is that they get fixated on something. They will hold on to that. They will hold on to that struggle. That's what's here, holding on to that struggle. No matter what the struggle is, no matter what they have to go through in their drive to externalize, they can hold it together and hold on to that struggle. When we get to the 5th line, this treachery, the abuse of trust, the manipulation of the collective that while pitting one faction against the other, does not directly support or reject either. The intuitive capacity of the game player to provoke struggle amongst others. So in our time, right now in history, this is probably the best played out piece of all of human design. One faction is constantly fighting against the other, and the whole point of it is to have you drop deeply into your own individuality. So the breaking of alliances with trusted forces to align with more powerful forces. It's attendant destabilization of the whole. The intuitive recognition in times of struggle to know what alliances must be broken and its destabilizing effect on others. Here's how I look at this, you guys. We must align to our own inner guidance, our own source connection. And when we break away from the collective, that's when, it feels like an earthquake happening. There's treachery there. Get to know your own struggle. Get to be your own game player in this whole big game. And then we have this blaze of glory, the sacrifice rather than capitulation to the law of deterioration. Regeneration and renewal, no matter what the price. The deep intuitive drive to win, no matter what the cost. Self-destruction, the deep intuitive fear of defeat and a potentially profound hopelessness in times of struggle. We know these people, blaze of glory people. They live life too fast. They live life to the fullest. That is the blaze of glory. Like in a heartbeat, you guys, we are here and we are gone. We are a cell within the universal structure. Not every cell lives forever. So win in your own game of life, no matter the cost. We are all going to die. Stand in your own purpose. Human design lays it right out for you, and then you get to witness it all take place. Be it. Be in this preponderance of this great, big, massive game that's happening. And be your own game player. So if you have this energy, if you have any of these two channels, any of these two gates, if you have the channel, know that your struggle isn't about struggling every single day. This is about the struggle to have value in your life, and you will know that value when you trust your strategy, when you trust your authority, when you know yourself so deeply through the self-mastery movement that nothing pulls you off your game and you win no matter what. All right, if you don't have this energy, see how it plays out. We know these blaze of glory people. I know them. We are all designed to stand in our own intuitive yumminess. Please do it. Please do it.